What's going on, guys? My name is Mike and I am the Weird Pigeon at Weird Pigeon Productions, and today I'm going to be talking about the two things that's going to protect your lens. Lenses are an investment. Sometimes they're really expensive. You don't want anything happening to them, so what better way to protect that investment than with these two things I'm about to tell you about. First thing I want to talk about, you probably already have if you have an expensive lens, and that is a lens hood. Lens hoods are awesome. They do two things for your camera. Number one, they block out unwanted light sources. So let's say you've got a subject you're shooting, your photo, there's a light like right over here shining straight this way. This is gonna kind of keep that light from leaking into the photo. It kind of blocks it out physically because it is, going around your lens. And keep the light that you want, the light that's bouncing off your subject or behind your subject or however you're shooting. It keeps the light you want getting into the lens and removes the light that you don't want getting into the lens. But the number one reason I should say why I have these on my lenses is to protect them. I cannot tell you how many times I've had a lens, especially this lens. This is my 18 to 35 millimeter f1.8 Sigma lens with a MC11 adapter on it. It's a Canon lens and I've got a Sony now, so I have to adapt it. But anyway, but I can't tell you how many times I've had my camera on like a sling or something and the lens was off to the side and I wasn't really looking where it was going, or I was in a really crowded place and the camera is bulky, it's bumping into things, and the lens hood has taken all the shock, it's taken all the hits. I'd much rather have the lens hood taking the hits than the actual physical lens and the glass taking the hits. A $20 to $30 piece of plastic like this, this guy can be replaced. This lens, however, that's a lot more expensive of a replacement, especially if it's not under warranty or no longer under warranty. Even if you had it under warranty, you'd still have to maybe send it in for repairs or anything like that, and then you're out the lens, and if you've got a job happening the next day, that's not good. You need these. These are your money makers. Don't want anything to happen to them. This lens has some decent weight to it there. Second thing I want to talk about is actually underneath the lens hood. So I'm just going to take it off. And it's this guy right here. Very, very small. Seems almost insignificant, but he's not. And that is the UV filter. I have UV filters over all my lenses when I don't have another filter on them, like a polarizer or a neutral density filter. I always have a UV filter on my lenses, and the reason for that is because it protects your front element from scratches, scrapes, bumps, cracks, dust, even anything like that. It protects it. I actually had a really cheap piece of glass over the front of this one, and it has taken a few hits and scratches, and those hits and scratches would actually be on the lens if it wasn't for the UV filter. And a little bit of information about UV filters and their history. Back in the day, cameras used to be able to actually see ultraviolet light, and there was no way for them to filter it out. And the UV light would get into the image and could actually change the color of things and cause all kinds of problems for your image. So they made these filters that basically just blocks it out. Today, with modern digital cameras, you don't have to worry about UV light getting into your lens or anything like that and messing up your image, but they still do have a purpose. They still protect the front element. I'm actually going to take it off real quick. One thing you have to worry about and just be careful about when putting these or taking these on and off is the threads are just so fine and thin. You don't want this guy cross-threading. Another thing to worry about when buying these is you don't want to buy a super cheap one. A lot of the times if you get an expensive lens or even a kit lens, the company you buy it from, especially if it's like one of those package deals on Amazon, they'll throw in some UV filters for free basically, and they tend to be really cheap plastic, just garbage. You don't want to be putting a $5 piece of glass in front of your $600, $800 piece of glass. Because it will actually decrease your image quality. So this one here is a decent quality, especially for the price. I think it was like 20 bucks. It is a K&F Concept Nano X UV filter, 72 millimeters. It's another thing I'll get into in a second. But just look how clear this is. Besides a little bit of dust on it, like it's almost like there's no glass there besides, there's a little bit of reflection here or there on it. But they're crystal clear, so it doesn't ruin your image or anything like that. It just protects your lens. Another thing I really like about this one is actually the little grips there on the side. Just makes taking it on and off a lot easier. You know, again, when you're putting them on, be really careful, make sure you're lining up those threads right, because you just don't want to cross thread the lens and wind up destroying the threads on your lens or the threads on this guy here. Just kind of want to take your time and put it on there carefully. But again, this one here is 72 millimeters, and that's basically just the size of the front element. Different lenses have different, you know, front element sizes. And normally on the lens, if you want to look that up, it tells you right there in like the inner ring. This one doesn't, this Sigma doesn't. It's actually, funny enough, it's actually on the lens hood. I don't know if you can see that really dark etching there. Just gives you the information about the lens, and this one's a 72 millimeter. The one that I have on my camera is a 77, so you just kind of want to watch those sizes, make sure you're getting the right one. Why do they do that? Like, why couldn't they just put it on the lens? Why is it on the lens hood? I don't understand. It makes no sense. And again, I'll post a link to the K&F Concepts lens filter. I've just found that one to be really clear, really high quality, especially for the price. But again, those two things have saved my lenses from getting scratched, bumped, damaged, chipped, anything like that. So I definitely recommend, you know, whenever you're buying any kind of lens, to go ahead and factor in the cost of a nice lens hood if it doesn't come with one already, and a decent UV filter. Those things have saved me lots of money, and I hope they do the same for you. Anyway, that's it for this video. If you want to see more videos, I post a lot of stuff on photography, videography, and Star Wars and how those three relate. So be sure to drop a subscribe and join the flock of pigeons. Sounds so stupid. And make sure to hit that bell notification and all the other things that they always tell you to do. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.